My name is Kathryn Boren. I go by Katie for short. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and I began training when I was about 3 years old, studying classical ballet. From there, I fell in love with it. I grew up and somehow was able to win a scholarship to the JKO school at ABT. Trained there starting from age 15, and then at 17 I got into the ABT2, which was the second company of ABT, and that carried me into dancing in Germany with Ballet Berlin. From there I went to Boston Ballet, and then I came back to ABT where I've been I think about 7 years now. So that's a little brief history of all my training. When the pandemic first hit, I think I was mostly scared at the beginning and confused, and I felt really lost. I didn't know how to continue at the pace that I was before the pandemic, when I felt like I was training all the time and really hitting a stride. And my dance career, being almost 30, I know it's not gonna last forever. And I felt like I had time stolen away from me. I mean, I know that everybody right now is dealing with that in their own way. So at first I was terrified. I was terrified of not having a studio. I was terrified of not training every day. I was terrified of losing all the technique that I spent 25 plus years building. That was at the beginning, and then I think slowly I start to realize there is a way to continue pursuing what I love and pursuing what I'm passionate about in a different setting. I had to be creative, obviously, about how to continue at the pace that I was, and also to allow myself to slow down occasionally, because this is such an uncertain time, and it took a while, but it helped me to realize that if I can, I should take advantage of this time to go at a slower pace, do things that I enjoy that aren't always revolved around training and rehearsing and getting on stage, but things just like walking the dog outside and enjoying family time and being surrounded with the people that I love but can't see all the time because I'm trying to be on stage every night with ABT. So that was a bit of a silver lining. I think during this whole pandemic though, I've hit ups and downs. I go from scared to terrified to ecstatic about new opportunities and new chances that are coming up with all these virtual training opportunities, and then I go back to being scared and terrified because what if I never get on stage again? So it's been a learning experience for sure, but I think we've all started to figure out that ballet is not going to go anywhere, and it's 25 years of training that's not going to be undone in 6 months. It took me a while to realize that and to accept it, but that's pretty much where I'm at. One of the biggest takeaways from this pandemic, I think, is just learning how to be flexible. And obviously I don't mean in training and with my body, but I mean with situations and with dealing with the environment that I'm in that I don't have control over changing, and learning how to not be frustrated by those kind of things that I wish I could control everything. I wish I could control all the elements, all the situations, all the environments, but I can't. So I've learned to be flexible and to use what I have and to be grateful for what I have. I'm grateful that I can have the space in my apartment to put a square of Marley flooring, because previous apartments that I've been in, I wouldn't have even had that. So the biggest takeaway has just been learning to, I think, appreciate the smaller things and appreciate what I do have. And even though this is a really scary time, I do think I've fared off much better than a lot of people who've been struggling and suffering, which is just so hard to see. The most thing I'm looking forward to after the pandemic is getting on stage and performing again and being with my friends and my colleagues and being able to all rehearse in the same studio together. It's been so hard to just see them on the screen and take class in our kitchens. I really miss the camaraderie of being in the same room with them, of feeling their energy, of going through these intense experiences with them, and then letting it all come to fruition on stage, and just the backstage moments and being in the dressing room and that kind of close-knit family I miss so much. I miss bringing joy to people when we're on stage and can experience, audience members being moved by our art, what we put out there, what we work so hard for. So I'm really excited to get back into that and to get back into sharing this amazing passion with the world. My biggest advice to young dancers right now, especially if they're feeling discouraged, is to go easy on yourself and be kind to yourself and It's okay to move at a slower pace. It's really hard to try to do 32 fouettes in a studio apartment, and it's not safe. And it's really hard, especially with social media now, and you may go on and you see other dancers, other students, doing something all the time, go, go, go. And some people have better facilities than others. Some people have a studio, you might just have your kitchen. Don't start to compare and contrast those things. Do the movement to make your body feel good, because this is a time where so much around us is upsetting and negative, and ballet is supposed to be beautiful. It's not supposed to be easy, we all know that, but it is supposed to be beautiful, and you got into it because you love it. And there's a lot of things right now that we can't do that we love, but you can find movement, you can do that for your body, you can allow it to enjoy the movement without being so rigorous, so tedious, and it's a great time to kind of come back to the roots and remember why you loved it, why you fell in love with it. And you can take the time to go slowly, work more on your technique. I mean, I'm discovering now, it's time to find fifth position again. That's something I've been bypassing for many years. But yeah, don't be discouraged by that, and try your hardest not to compare to what other people are doing right now. Do you, literally you do you. I know it's very cliche, but that's the best advice that I can give.